Hey guys, today's video is a mental health video on two different disorders, one narcissist personality disorder and the other BPD, which I feel share similar traits, like devaluation. They both tend to devalue their partners in different cycles of their mental illness. But today's video, guys, is, my girlfriend broke up with me for no reason. That's going to be the title of the video. Because I've gone through this. I've had BPD girlfriends that have literally broken up with me for literally no reason. I had done everything by the book, had been a good boyfriend, a sweet, loving boyfriend, good in bed, everything. And they'd still end the relationship. You gotta realize, and this is gonna be a lot because I see college guys age, I'd say 18 to 25, and it breaks my heart when I see videos like this. They'll be in their college dorm and then they'll have some random slut they're dating, breaks their heart, ends the relationship, goes out with another guy or something like that, or just ends the relationship for nothing, which girls often do. First of all, men, if you're really having an emotional day today, I recommend calling 988, the suicide helpline. I've actually almost been pushed to the verge of suicide by a former ex-girlfriend, BPD ex-girlfriend, who literally drove me to the depths of suicide, guys. And BPD girls can do that to their boyfriends. You have to realize that your behavior is actually not connected to their mental health. A BPD woman can split, they call it splitting, where they go in different cycles. One cycle, like at the beginning of your relationship, they love bomb you. Narcissists do this too. Narcissist females do this too. They'll love bomb you at the beginning of the relationship. And then down the line, they start devaluing you, start treating you poorly. And then at the end, they throw you away like a bag of dirt, like a bag of garbage. This isn't every case, guys. This isn't every BPD person, every narcissist person. This is mostly talking about sociopathic ones that I've dealt with. Um, Probably most likely, if you've had a girl that has just broken up with you for no reason, most likely you're dealing with some sort of psychopath, not psychopath, but most likely a sociopath, because she's not really showing a lot of regard for your feelings during this transition. Um, like I said, guys, like I said, gentlemen out there, your behavior may have nothing to do with this breakup. That's how you can kind of get yourself off the hook. Don't beat yourself up. Don't act like it's all your fault. Maybe you did do some things that were wrong. Like if you put your hands on the person, like domestic violence, then I think that's something you can work on. I think you can get counseling. I think you can learn coping skills, like going for a walk so you don't end up hitting somebody. Everybody makes mistakes, but the difference is change. That's what we all want to, go towards, is changing to be a better person each day, right? But I'm doing this video mostly for those younger adults, age 18 to 25, because a lot of you older men, you already know this, but you're still welcome to listen to my video tonight. But basically, if you're dealing with like a narcissist female or a borderline female, because they both do this. They both break up with guys for literally no reason. Maybe they saw a guy at the grocery store today that they wanted to have sex with, or they wanted to start dating them. Because they're both cluster B personalities, oftentimes they have no empathy for your feelings. That's how they can so quickly ghost you. That's how they can so quickly give you silent treatment, because of their mental illness, which narcissism is a mental illness, borderline personality is a mental illness. So no, don't lash out at these people. Don't hurt them or anything, because it's a mental illness. You have to realize it's not personal. They're not oftentimes BPD girls are not intentionally trying to harm you. These are all just symptoms of their mental illness. Oftentimes they're not even aware of what they're doing. Like one of my ex-girlfriends who had BPD, she went to a full-blown psychosis, BPD psychosis, thought the whole police department was after her. She literally spent a month in the Veterans Hospital in a full BPD psychosis. I think she had a little bit of a co-occurring disorder, most likely schizophrenia as a co-occurring disorder, but she definitely had BPD symptoms like push-pull behavior. The same girl called me up one time and said, "Steve, I don't understand why I'm pushing and pulling on you." I could tell you, because she was a fucking borderline. That's why she was pushing and pulling on me. but the point today of today's video, men, or suppose this could go for lesbian relationships too, is that if the person has BPD or if they have narcissism as a mental illness, and again, they're both mental illnesses, they're going to do bizarre behaviors like break up with you for no reason. I mean, you may be dating the hottest girl at your college, literally the hottest girl. Oftentimes, BPD girls are the hottest girls, and there's just probably a quink-a-dink, right? But that's often how it is. Like my ex-girlfriend could have been a supermodel. She was super beautiful and pretty. But because of her mental illnesses, she had probably 5, 6 mental illnesses: anxiety, PTSD, bipolar, BPD, probably a little delusional thought processing, psychosis, also like falling into trying to think of the word, guys. You've got psychosis, and then you've also got disassociation. That's the word I was looking for. You've got disassociation. And again, BPD girls can severely disassociate. BPD girls can go into psychosis when they're under stress. Like one time I had given a BPD girl a ride to jail because she had got an OUI. She does not remember that situation. She literally does not remember me bringing her to jail. So that's an example of a BPD psychosis or a BPD disassociation. She was probably disassociating because she was having a PTSD episode or having an anxiety episode or something that pushed her into the realm of psychosis or disassociation. So the point of today's video, guys, is to not take things personal. No, you're not going to kill yourself over this person. And again, if you're suicidal, call 988, the suicide helpline. But you're not going to kill yourself. You're not going to quit your job. You're not going to go off the deep end. You have to realize that your behavior, they've actually proven that us men's behavior oftentimes has nothing to do with the BPD girl's mental illness and behavior. So, like I said, the splitting, the valuing you, the love bombing, the devaluation, that happens on its own. That's part of their mental illness. So nothing you're doing has any effect on the splitting, which means a narcissist or a borderline, once they split and start devaluing you, oftentimes that doesn't stop. Oftentimes it leads to breakup and discard. Again, with both, I've seen this in BPD. I've seen this in narcissists because I've dated a full-blown narcissistic woman. I've dated a full-blown BPD woman. I've dated girls with anxiety. I've dated girls with PTSD. I've dated girls that had psychosis, schizophrenia, things like that. So I'm no spring chicken to mental health. I went to college. I've got 120 college credits in mental health. Spent 10 years working with adults, in various group homes, working with adults. Spent about 5 years working in group homes with children. So I have a lot of experience, guys, mental health wise. I really enjoyed reading about it in college and things like that. There's certain people on YouTube that I like to watch. There's all kinds of different people, which I can get into that in a different video. But so the point of tonight's video, guys, is you can't take it personally. You cannot take the borderline girl's behavior personally, the narcissistic woman's behavior personally. Once they get it in their head, once that snap triggers to devaluation, and again, your behavior has nothing to do with it. They just triggers as part of their mental illness triggers, and they start devaluing you. More than likely, the earlier story with a college student that had his heart broken, more than likely the girl he was dealing with was probably BPD or a narcissist. That's why she just quickly broke up with him the way she did and broke his heart. I mean, this guy was ready to go off the deep end over it. His friends were grabbing onto him and stuff. Which, by the way, if you have a friend that's suicidal, don't underestimate the power of helping that person. Like the day I wanted to kill myself over my BPD girlfriend leaving me on Christmas Eve. My friend Levi talked me out of suicide at work. So never underestimate the power of being a good friend to someone, being a helping hand to somebody or doing a nice thing for somebody. Like there's this campaign online right now against single mothers, which I don't think is really fair. They say you shouldn't date a single mom. I don't really think that's true because I've seen positive relationships come out of it. Like one of my last friends, he had a positive relationship with a woman for like 6 or 7 years. Yeah, they ended up getting divorced in the long run, which I'm not going to get into that because that's their business. but they had a positive relationship for like 7 years where they were getting along pretty well. So these relationships can be really hard. When the person leaves you, it can make you feel really upset. I mean, it can make you devastated, it can make you depressed, especially if you're a person like me that has up and down emotions. It can really affect you. It can really affect you if you're an empath. Us men, we tend to isolate. We tend to just start staying home, avoiding people, avoiding social interactions. So it can have a severe impact on your mental health, which maybe going to counseling wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe getting a gym membership wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe going to church or talking to a local pastor about your feelings wouldn't be a bad idea, or going to confession if you're a Catholic. You could talk to the priest. Um, so guys, use your coping skills. Realize that your behavior is not connected to her behavior. If she's BPD, if she's narcissist, she's gonna break up with you for literally no fucking reason, because it's part of the devaluation. Just literally, they have a trigger, a split. It's called splitting. They split and they start chucking everyone in a bad pile, everybody in a good pile. Once you're in that bad pile, it can take weeks, days, months, weeks, years. Like literally, I have a BPD girl that's mad at me because my old landlord kicked her dogs out. To this day, she's still upset about it. And we're going on almost 3 years that she's ghosted me because of the dogs leaving her apartment. Leaving my apartment. They got kicked out of my apartment. She was staying with me. But she's going on almost 3 years of silent treatment and 3 years of avoiding me because she's still upset the landlord kicked her dogs out. So do you see how irrational BPD narcissist women can be? I mean, they'll literally hold a grudge for years. This girl has, to this day, still holds a grudge about being kicked out of my house. That's why she doesn't come visit me, because she's holding some sort of grudge. You can bend over backwards for these BPD girls, which is the worst fucking part. I mean, here I had driven this girl to jail, let her stay with me multiple times, rented her a room, done all this wonderful shit for her. This was a former girlfriend of mine. We had amazing sex. We had amazing oral sex. We had a great relationship, but then she, like I said, because she's BPD, she just end the relationship out of nowhere, or, a family member would say, come over, and she would just move out or something like that. They're very impulsive. They have something called an impulsive borderline, which you're going to see those impulsive behaviors. Like you come home from work and they're fucking gone. That's the impulsive borderline. Or you come home from work and find out they've left state. That's the impulsive borderline. And impulsive borderline will literally get on a bus and go from East Coast to West Coast to East, get on a plane and go to Egypt. Those are your fucking borderlines that'll just, next week, let's say some guy buys them a ticket tonight. Next week, they're on a plane to Egypt. Those are your BPD girls, those impulsive BPD girls. Is every BPD girl like that? No. Is every BPD girl like that badly behaved? No. I've mostly dealt with sociopaths in my life. I don't know why they're attracted to me, most likely because I'm an empath. But I've dealt with a lot of sociopathic borderlines, a lot of sociopathic narcissists that had no regard for my feelings at all, guys. If I had gone and jumped off a bridge, they wouldn't have lost 5 minutes of sleep. But your job, because they don't care, that's part of their mental illness, guys. Them not caring is part of the devaluement. Them not caring is part of that whole devaluement, part of narcissism, borderline. Another thing that's really hard to deal with is, when they break up with you, when a BPD girl breaks up with you, not only does she tell everybody that she's the victim of you, but she also goes on a smear campaign and tells her family that you're a bad person. How bad it was how much of a dick I was because I let the landlord kick the dogs out is probably what she was telling her family. That I was a big asshole, that I was an abuser, that I kicked her dogs out. She made herself into a victim. Do you see what I'm saying? She smeared my name to fellow friends that I have, said awful things about me that are not true. Just they like I said, that's one of the side effects of dealing with narcissistic women, dealing with borderline women, is they go on these smear campaigns when you break up. Now everybody hates you. Now you got no friends. Now maybe her family's not talking to you anymore. Everybody starts blocking you. And like I said, you may have, like me, literally done nothing wrong. I had done nothing wrong, and this is the treatment that you get. And that's the sad part about dealing with BPD women, is you can bend over backwards for these fucking girls. You can bend over backwards for a narcissistic female. And because devaluation is part of both of those mental illnesses, then the chances of winning in that relationship are almost zero. I mean, I've heard some stories of borderline women married 20 years, but what do they put their husband through? In those periods of devaluement, what do they put their husband through? Those are probably the husbands that are going outside thinking about blowing their head off every day because of the devaluement that narcissists and BPD girls can do. But you got to use your coping skills, guys, and realize that your behavior, you could literally be the best husband in the world, and these BPD girls will break up with you. You could be the best husband in the fucking world, and these narcissistic women will still break up with you. You could literally do everything by the book. You could spend $1 million on these women. You could buy them a brand new fucking house. You could buy them a brand new car. And if they're an impulsive borderline, you may come home and find out they've gone to fucking Egypt. This is no joke because I've lived this. I literally came home from work one day and found out my BPD girlfriend left state. On a spur of a moment, she didn't talk to any of her friends. She didn't talk to any of her boyfriends, which at the time she had 2 boyfriends. She didn't talk to any of us. She just fucking left state. That's an impulsive borderline for you. She's an impulsive borderline. That's why she was doing the push-pull behaviors. When she called me up and said, why am I pushing and pulling? Because you're borderline. Push-pull is part of borderline. And they're going to want to come back later. So your job is to decide what you're going to tolerate, what you're going to put up with. Are you going to let this girl come back? And I think the answer should probably be no, because look at the hell they're putting you through now. Maybe you've been suicidal. Maybe you've lost your job. Maybe you quit your job. Maybe you've been isolating for months. My job tonight is to tell you, mister, it's not your fault. You could literally be Jesus Christ and they'll still break up with you. That's no joke. You could be the Pope. You could be the coolest state trooper in the world. They'll still break up with you. You could be the greatest pastor. You could be Joel Osteen. And if you're dealing with an impulsive borderline, she's going to find a reason why she wants to devalue you and break up. If you're Joel Osteen, you're dating a narcissist, she's going to find a reason to replace you. She's going to find a reason why you're not good enough for her. The narcissists, they have other guys on speed dial. Just as a warning, they got other guys they're talking to behind your back. If you're dealing with a sociopathic borderline, they may be running out on you. Like one of my ex-girlfriends had other guys that she was having sex with that me and her other boyfriend didn't even know about. She was dating like 2 guys at once, plus having side guys. Thank God I recently got tested for stuff and I don't have anything. So I'm thankful to the Lord for that. Because I did have some risky situations with some of these BPD girls, some of these narcissistic females, which if you're dating some of these types of promiscuous women, I recommend to wrap it. I recommend to use protection during sex. But guys, it's probably not your fault. If you physically abuse them, yes, it's your fault. You need to get into counseling. You need to realize that you don't hit people. You wouldn't want someone hurting you. You wouldn't want someone beating you up. You wouldn't want someone punching you in the face. You wouldn't want someone slapping you in the face. That's why we get our shoes on and go for a walk. That's why if your BPD girlfriend or narcissistic girlfriend's being a cunt to you, devaluing you in the kitchen, you say, guess what? Fuck you. I'm out of here. See ya. See you tomorrow. See you the next week. See you next week. See you next year, if that's what you want to do. But you get yourself out of that environment in order to prevent domestic violence. Oftentimes, BPD girls will attack their boyfriends and then be injured in the process. So then when the police get there, the BPD girl has a broken wrist. And next thing you know, you're in handcuffs and you haven't even done anything except maybe you pushed the girl off you because she attacked you and she broke a wrist. Now you're in fucking jail for domestic violence and the cops think that you were beating on her. Guys, you got to realize when you're dating these type of women, you're playing with fire. I know because I've been there. I've had 911 called on me for no reason. I've literally had a BPD girlfriend call 911 on me for absolutely no reason. Hadn't done anything wrong, and she called 911 on me. Literally just knocked on her door to check on her, and she calls 911 on me. So those are your impulsive borderlines, guys, are going to get you in trouble. They're going to put PFAs on you. They're going to get you arrested. You got to set boundaries with these people. Remember, boundaries are key. Learn to see the red flags of narcissism, like entitlement. Like my last girlfriend wanted me to buy her fucking shit tons of wine. That's entitlement. And she didn't deserve it because she was being a bad girlfriend. She was running out on me constantly, going to the bar, running out on me with losers. Anyway, guys, like, subscribe, and share. Till next time, your favorite, not a doctor, Steve-O. Bye.